Hi everybody, welcome to the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook and why every business should. If this was the presentation you were expecting, then you are in the right place. If not, then you've got a chance to figure out where you should be. We will get started here in just a few minutes. We're just waiting for everybody to join in and get settled in, and then we'll get going. So this is a perfect time if you need to wrap up any last minute emails, phone calls, head to the restroom, get a drink of water, anything like that. This is a great time to do that, and we'll get started here in just a minute or two. Thank you. Hello again. We will get started here in just another minute or two. And you are at the presentation for the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook and why every business should. And we're just letting a few people still join in here. We got a lot of people that are still joining, so we'll give them another minute or two, and then we'll get started. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for joining me here today. Again, our presentation today is the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook and why every business should. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here, and I promise we are going to get through this as swiftly as possible, but also make sure to deliver to you some great usable content. All right, before we jump into that content, let me just clear up a couple logistics here to start. One is I will be recording this presentation, so I'll send you out a replay of the recording, so you don't have to worry about taking real intense notes. You'll have access to this if you want to go through it again. Also, if you have any questions during the presentation, you will notice that below this presentation there is a little box that you can type questions into. Please go ahead and enter your questions in there, and if I have the ability to answer your question or the time to answer your question, I will get to it at the end of the presentation. And otherwise, I'll make sure that myself or somebody from my team follows up with you directly to answer any questions that you have. Finally, there is, if you hover over your mouse, if you hover over the actual presentation here, you'll see a little icon that appears in the lower lower right hand side of the presentation here. And if you click on that, it will expand the presentation to full screen mode. So that might be just a better way for you to watch the presentation. And if you do that and you want to then exit out of that mode, you just hit escape, and you'll be back into the regular view. Okay? So let's go ahead and get rolling here. So first of all, the question is, why Facebook? Okay? Facebook obviously has had lots and lots of buzz over the last 5 years or so. Obviously one of the fastest growing and most influential websites that's ever been created. And certainly with its IPO and going public and its share price kind of debacle, it's had a lot of press that maybe it doesn't want to have necessarily. But there's no doubt that Facebook has become a really important part of society and an important part of life for a lot of people. I mean, people are spending a lot of time on Facebook connecting with other people in their lives. And in fact, if you look at some of these statistics here, it really is pretty amazing. Facebook is up to around 955 million users. And of course, that number is growing pretty quickly every day. So I would guess that by the time we're done with this presentation, it's over 1 billion users. It really is just amazing. If you ever go back and look at the growth curve of how that happened, it's just astronomical growth. Now, what's more important though in just sheer numbers of people on Facebook is that people are really using Facebook. They're engaged in Facebook for a good chunk of their day. You can see here the average U.S. user spent 7 hours and 46 minutes on Facebook in August of 2011. That's just an awful lot of time. In fact, it's 15 and a half minutes the average American spends on Facebook every single day. So again, Facebook is something that more and more is it's a source of social connection and of conversation with friends and interaction with people that you don't yet know, that you're getting to know, that people are referring back to multiple times every single day and spending more time on there than they do on just about any other website. Interesting as well, here are some stats. The average age of a Facebook user rose from 33 in 2008 to 38 in 2010. So it used to be that Facebook was considered just like a kid's thing, it was for college students. And in fact, Facebook did start just for college students, so there's truth there. But it's interesting to see that the average age is actually getting up near 40. So on Facebook, there's every kind of demographic. So no matter what demographic you're selling to as a business, you will find it on Facebook. It's also interesting to see that users have 229 friends each on average on Facebook. So, by engaging with one person, you have the ability to reach many, many people through those social interactions. So, why Facebook? The answer is, again, Facebook really has become a part of the daily behavior of just, well, you can see here, nearly 1 billion people. It really is amazing. And you have a real opportunity to reach those people and engage with those people for your business on Facebook. All right, so that's why Facebook. Let's now move on to the top 10 ways to market your business on Facebook. All right, first is to create an awesome page, okay? The page on Facebook is essentially like your website. It's the house for all of your content and all of your conversations that you're having with people on Facebook. It's what people see when they come and they visit your brand. This is a company, if you haven't heard of them, called New Belgium Brewing, and they're out in Fort Collins, Colorado. And a really interesting company. I saw them. They were profiled in Inc. magazine. I think they were called the most innovative company in America by Inc. magazine. I know that they have a really amazing green approach to running their business. Like their entire business is like zero impact on the environment. And partially because of that and their culture as a company, and also the fact that they brew really, really good beer, they have a really, really, really loyal following, and that is reflected here. You can see in their Facebook numbers. I mean, it's really amazing. 310,000 likes on their page. You can see here 29,000 people talking about this, and 1,298 were here, as in they actually visited the brewery. So it's pretty amazing what they've been able to accomplish on Facebook. And you can see here that they've put a good amount of thought and energy into making their page a very attractive page that is reflective of their brand. You can see they've used some really nice imagery here on their main photo there, and then again, complementary photos for each of the app buttons that you see down below here that are again supported in or supporting their brand. So this is a really attractive page, and it's a really effective page for them. In fact, their company estimates that its Facebook fans are responsible for over $50 million in yearly sales. So they really put a good amount of effort into nurturing that community on Facebook. So step one, you want to make a page that is worthy of your brand and that people are going to get the right impression when they come and visit. All right, number two tip here is to post photos. According to Facebook's own research, photos and videos generate significantly more engagement than other post types. And you can see here in this graph provided by Track Social, on the left-hand side is photos, and you can see that the engagement by post type is what this graph is. You can see it's highest for photos, and then it starts to go down and to the right there. So photos pretty by far and away they're number one, then questions, status updates, flash videos, and just links. You can see again that photos really are the high engagement content that you can put up on Facebook. And that, that really matters. I mean, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to stick around and interact with your posts and interact with you and your page. Photos are the way to do that. Now, point 2A here, or tip 2A, go big with your photos. Okay, Facebook, as I'm sure everybody is familiar with by now, made their big timeline change, and as part of that allowed you to go really big with your photos in your posts, and that it's a really great marketing opportunity to take advantage on Facebook. If you've got dramatic imagery, humorous imagery, anything like that you can include as part of your marketing and part of your brand, then you definitely want to take advantage of it by going big with your posts on Facebook. And this is what's called a milestone post. A milestone post, again, it's just one that takes up the full space of your Facebook page in terms of width, so that it really is showing off that image. And I think it's something like 800 by 400 pixels, so you got a lot of real estate to work with there, and they're very engaging. All right, tip number 3 is to open up about yourself. And what I mean by that is that data has showed that the more kind of personal in nature the posts are, the more engagement that you get and the more likes that you get. So you can see here, this is a graph that shows like percentage, and it's tracking the like percentage based on self-referential words and the number of self-referential words used in your post. Man, that's a tongue twister. I can hardly say that. But on the left-hand side, you can see there, if you're using one self-referential word, and over on the right, 15, you can see the like percentage go up. So when we say self-referential, we're referring to posts with like I and me. So again, they're perceived as being more personal. And on Facebook, people like that. They like that personal engagement. They don't want to feel like they're just being marketed to by a brand. So as much as possible, if you can introduce the personal stories of the people in your business on your Facebook page, then you're going to be better off than just marketing as a brand. All right, tip number 4, be relevant, be useful, and be purple. If you've never heard of the book Purple Cow by a very famous marketer named Seth Godin, that's what this is referring to. It's essentially, you want to stand out. You want to try and find a way to be creative and unique on Facebook so that your posts don't just get lost in the flood of status updates that are out there. All right. Some specific tips here. Topical content gets traction. Fill in the blank posts. If you've ever seen these before, where you say, hey, everybody out there, fill in the blank. You start a sentence off and leave part of it blank, and other people can fill in that blank in their comments. That gets a lot of interaction. Photo caption contests, open questions, so asking people open questions. Anything where you can provide like specific tips or shortcuts or hacks that people can use. Those are very, very popular, and quotes are very popular as well. So find ways to stand out and create content that really drives engagement. Tip number 5 here, run contests and promos. So this is something that really has taken off on Facebook. Facebook, because of its social engagement, it can be a really fantastic way to get people in groups into some sort of contest or promotion. Because they can share the contest with their friends and participate in that contest with their friends, which just makes it that much more interesting and engaging to them. So you can run sweepstakes. You can offer coupons where people get benefits from sharing those coupons with their friends. Running photo contests, essays, video contests, contests where you're letting people choose like this versus that, choosing their favorites and voting on their favorites. You've probably seen, a lot of people or a lot of businesses will run contests on like voting on your favorite sports team, who's going to win tonight's big game. You also see like restaurants letting people vote on their favorite food item from their menu. These types of things are, just really engaging with people. And again, that's what Facebook is all about. You want your marketing to be engaging, to drive interaction with people, not just be something where you are, posting something for them to read. You want them to interact with you. That's how you really get those tight associations with your brand. There's a specific recommendation down here. There's an application, a company out there called Wildfire App, and Google bought these guys. It's a platform that allows you to run contests and promotions on Facebook, and it gives you all the systems and even like training and legal documentation and things like that to help you run a successful contest or promotion through Facebook. And I mentioned there the legal frameworks. That's actually really, really important on Facebook. Facebook has some very clear, strict rules about what you can and can't do with contests and things like that on Facebook. So you do need to pay real close attention to that, and that's why it's great to use a tool like Wildfire App, because they can take away some of the mystery around that and tell you what the very clear best practices are to stay within the legal limits and to stay within Facebook's limits as well. Okay, so that's number 5, run contests and promotions. All right, number 6 is to make it worth their time. Okay, especially as a brand, as a company that's trying to market on Facebook, you're already put in a little bit of a lower position in people's mind, right? Because on Facebook, people don't want to feel like they're being marketed to. So generally, companies are looked upon a little bit less favorably than just normal people are, right? Facebook is where they want to engage and interact with their friends primarily. However, companies that do a good job of driving interaction will get just, huge enthusiastic followings on Facebook. So you just want to make sure that what you're putting out there is worth their time. And this is a pretty funny quote from a gentleman, Andrew Blakely, posting, writing a blog out there on the web about Facebook. It says, "This morning my yogurt told me to find it on Facebook. It didn't tell me why, it just told me to find it. Why on earth would I want to find a yogurt on Facebook? It's a yogurt." So it is pretty funny. A lot of companies, in their desperation to try to be current and make sure that they are relevant on Facebook, have kind of missed the boat in their approach, right? They're just kind of, throwing stuff up there, maybe seeing, things that they've seen other companies do. They're not really thinking through how they can make that content and that interaction worthwhile for the people that are taking the time to visit their brand. You've always got to answer that question: what's in it for the user? What's in it for the visitor? You can't just think about what's in it for your brand and the goals you're trying to accomplish. You've always got to try and make it about the person on the other end of that equation. So make it worth their time. And actually, here, point 6A, tip 6A, directly related to that, is make offers that they can't refuse, right? If you're going to implore somebody to visit your page, make sure the experience is a good one and a fun one, and that they've got some potential for reward in doing it. Now, it doesn't always have to be this extreme, but this is a fantastic example from a company called Timbuktu. By visiting their page and liking them, are included an opportunity to win a bike, a helmet, a messenger bag, and a number of other goodies there for your summer park kit, right? And this offer is made to about 100,000 newsletter subscribers. And, they emailed this offer out then to the people who liked them, and they had their email addresses, and it received a huge number of click-throughs versus just their normal, content that they put out there. So obviously, people want to, people love free stuff. They love if there's a contest that they feel like they can win, right? People are a competitive bunch. So doing things like this can really, really make it feel like it's worth the visitor's while to give you their attention and to like your page. And that's what it's all about. How can you create good incentives and make them offers that they can't refuse? All right, tip number 7, post in the early evening and on weekends. So this graph here shows you the percentage likelihood of a post being shared depending on when it is posted. And you can see here that the highest point on that graph is somewhere in between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And it kind of dives off there as you get later on into the evening, and it kind of builds throughout the day. And this is important. Obviously, the time or to post content when people have the time to actually view that content immediately is going to get you that most interaction, because posts that happen throughout the day, if they can't check throughout the day, will tend to get buried. And people are just naturally, we're a little bit lazy, right? We're not going to go dig through all those posts looking for something to share. So if you can time it right, you can get a lot more interaction. And the data shows that if you make those posts kind of early evening, very late afternoon, and you make those posts on the weekend, you are going to get much more responsiveness than other times. In fact, Saturdays and Sundays, in some cases, receive almost double the percentage of share as posts during the weekday. So definitely something to consider. All right, tip number 8, integrate with mobile, email, and your website. So while we are very enthusiastic fans of Facebook marketing, and we believe that most businesses should be creating a Facebook marketing strategy, it's certainly not the end-all be-all, right? We don't believe in that. We believe that you want to communicate with your audience in a variety of different ways to get the most impact. So, as much as possible, you want to try to get people to interact with your other marketing mediums while they're on Facebook. So you can see here is an example of giving somebody the opportunity to opt into your email list while they're on your Facebook page. So that's a great way of capturing them into another marketing medium, so that you are now having the opportunity to connect with them not just on Facebook, but also in your email blast where you're sending out newsletters and offers. Anything that you can do to get people into multiple channels will give you greater success. So something that you can do very successfully on a Facebook page, you can put an SMS, a text offer, so that people can text text your SMS platform to get some sort of offer, get a coupon, things like that. These are the types of kind of cross-pollination of those marketing channels that will, again, get you greater effectiveness in your marketing. And just by the way, before we move on from this slide, check this out. This is Patagonia, very famous outdoor brand, and this is on their page. Look at this. This is a rock face, in case you couldn't quite see what this is. And this is somebody climbing up this little crack in the rock face. That is totally scary, but really, really cool. All right, moving on. Number 9 here, Advertise. Facebook has, what I think is the most amazing advertising platform out there. It really is unbelievable how well you can target very specific audiences and how you can demonstrate social proof in your advertisements in a way that is not found in any other advertising platform. So, for example, people who have liked your page or joined your group or joined an event that you're hosting, you can use connections targeting to show your ad only to people who have a connection with you or only to people who don't have a connection with you, so that you can tailor your advertising based on those connections. You can also target very specifically based on people's interests. So, movies that they like, restaurants that they like, topics that they're interested in. You can target very, very specifically to those things. And really, the targeting in Facebook, you really just have to get in there and explore it a little bit to fully understand it. But just trust me when I tell you that you can really, really hone in the targeting of your advertising so that you are speaking specifically to the audience that you mean to be speaking to. There's a famous marketing quote or advertising quote. There's a couple of people that I've heard get credit, but the one I know, John Wanamaker, where he says, I know that 50% of my advertising is wasted. I just don't know which 50%. And that's true. If you're advertising, you're taking a full page ad in a newspaper, well, surely, a number of people who are seeing that full page ad are your right target market. But also there's a huge number of people that are seeing that aren't your right target market, but there's no more refined way to reach them in that newspaper. Well, in Facebook, you can make sure that you are driving your ads specifically to the audience that you want to drive it to, so that you're not spending money on anybody else. It really, really is just an amazing platform. All right, tip number 10, reach out to fans. So you can see here, Oreo did a really nice job here. They have a birthday of the day, July 27th, and they're promoting the birthday of one of their fans. Certainly a great way to get engagement with people. And you can see, wow, look at this. Oreo, 27 million likes, 191,000 people talking about them. Wow, that's unbelievable. Just huge numbers there. Who knew people were so enthusiastic about Oreos, huh? Reaching out to your fans, communicating to them, celebrating them, doing case studies of them and sharing those, sharing pictures that you have with them, things like that. Fantastic strategies to really reach out and engage with them. Okay, so that's top 10 Facebook tips, or top 10 tips on how to use Facebook to market your business. But we're not done here. We've got some bonus tips. Let me just grab a drink of water here real quick, and we'll jump into some more tips for you. All right, let's get these bonus tips fired up here. First one is mix talking with listening, and this is so important on Facebook. Facebook is, it's the ultimate social media platform, right? And inherent in that is the word social. People want to have a conversation. They don't want to just be blasted out to, right? So the Facebook page should not be viewed as your pulpit. It should be viewed as a place for you to have two-way conversation with people and to really engage with them in conversation on your Facebook site. If all you're doing is posting out and you're not letting people engage with you by commenting back in and having you respond to them, then you're really missing out on the magic of social media. All right, number 2 here, invest enough time to be successful. And I know that this is a challenge for a lot of people, and a lot of people, unfortunately, feel like spending time on Facebook is just wasting time. But that's not the case. You've got to put some effort into it, and you will see rewards. It's not a magic button. You can't just turn on your marketing in Facebook and then just ignore it. You've got to spend some time on there. It's interesting data here. It says those who spend 6+ hours per week are almost twice as likely to see leads generated as those who spend 5 hours or less. So there's this magic line there, in that 6 hours plus where it really starts to pay off. You got to spend time in there. And I think a real important point here, don't just give the keys to the intern. Your marketing on Facebook can be valuable enough, certainly, that it's worth the time of the key people at your company to invest in it and understand in it, and making sure that your business is getting the most value from it. All right, next, automate selectively. Automate selectively. Automation is good in a lot of cases, except when it isn't, right? So what you see a lot of people do is they over-automate on social media, and pretty soon it gets to become really apparent to anybody who is following you or friends with you that that's exactly what you're doing, and then they just feel kind of abused and will tend to then unfriend you and head someplace else with their time and their attention, right? So yes, use automation on low priority content, but you've also got to get in there and be a real person, be a real brand, a real human being, and engage with people by putting real content up there. And again, getting into that conversation with people where there's some back and forth. All right, next, measure your performance. One of the beautiful things about anything that you're doing online is it is very, very measurable, and it brings a whole new level of accountability to your marketing. So make sure that you're measuring everything that you can. Just take a look at what's called the Insights tab on Facebook. The Insights is where you can get all of your data about what's happening with your Facebook page and the people who are interacting with it, so that you can start to see what's really working and tailor your strategy based on what the data tells you. There are 4 key metrics to gauge audience size and engagement. There's total likes, friends and fans, talking about this, which is the people that are mentioning your brand out there in the social universe, and total reach, which again, because of those social connections, is telling you how far your brand is getting exposure out there in the social network with people who are not necessarily directly tied to you, but they are tied to the people that are tied to you. Okay, and that's really the power of social media marketing. So use data to help you develop your strategy and evaluate what's working and what's not. All right, so those are our bonus tips. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and dig into the questions, some questions that came in here. Got a number of them. I don't know that I'll be able to get to all of them here, but we will get to a handful of them. I hope you guys got some great ideas and tips out of that presentation that are going to help serve you here going forward with your Facebook strategy. And again, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and punch them into that box. If I don't get to them here today, we will follow up with you directly to get those taken care of for you. So let's see here. Somebody said, I've heard that Facebook people aren't buyers. And what this person is suggesting is that, hey, you can market on Facebook, but don't expect to drive actual revenue directly from Facebook. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that, and that goes to managing your expectations about what you're accomplishing on Facebook. And it's interesting. Facebook has even said that they don't want you necessarily to be able to put out like, real direct response ads and take people outside of Facebook to buy stuff from you. That's not what they see the platform to be about, and they plan on really revolutionizing how businesses market to their audiences over time through Facebook, in that they see it as more like an ongoing conversation, right? That you want to be on Facebook engaging people with your brand and with your messaging and with offers, but that they don't want the real harsh call to action marketing. So yeah, you may have a harder time directly tying what you're doing on Facebook to increased sales. However, there are ways to track that to really demonstrate that you are getting an ROI from what you're doing on Facebook. So, but yes, there is some truth to it. You're not going to just go out on Facebook, put an ad, and all of a sudden see the cash register just start ringing like crazy. Most likely, there are cases where that happens, but most likely it is a little bit more gradual process than that. Let's see here. Somebody asked, do I still need a website or just do everything on Facebook? I'm a very small business, and it seems like it's going to be difficult to manage both. That's a great question. As a real small business with limited resources, which I've definitely been there before, I understand, the need to be focused and not have your resources spread too thin. I do think that you still need a website. Facebook is incredibly powerful, and I do believe that you want to have a Facebook page and interact with people on Facebook. But that being said, Facebook changes the rules all the time, and I don't know that you want to be completely beholden to what they're doing. I mean, the nice thing about having just a website on the internet is that you can do anything you want to with that. Facebook does have rules; it changes those rules, and I think that it makes sense to have your own separate web presence. You can also do all kinds of other things to market your website presence that may make more sense for you versus marketing your Facebook presence. So I think it's a great idea to have both. If I was a really, really small business and I had super limited resources and I just had to start with one, I'll tell you what, I think I would start with Facebook today, because the built-in socialization that allows you to get an audience going, I think will really, really benefit any small business. Let's see here. Somebody says you showed an email opt-in box. Oh, on the Patagonia page. That's right. How do I do that? That's a good question. You can inside of Facebook, you can essentially build pages in there that are essentially just HTML. I mean, they're the same language or code generally that's used by websites just on the internet now. So just like you can put an opt-in box to capture email addresses on a web page, you can now do that on Facebook. Certainly that's something that we can help you with if that's kind of technical and beyond your reach there. And then somebody asks, is it expensive to advertise on Facebook? No, it's really not. I mean, certainly you can spend a lot of money on there, but because of the targeting that I mentioned before and how you can really zero in on your audience, there's a lot less waste compared to other advertising mediums. So no, I don't think it's expensive to advertise on Facebook. I think it's a very, very cost-effective, high ROI platform. Let's see here. I think that's it for the questions. I want to make sure that you get back to your day here, and any questions that were submitted, I will go ahead and respond to those, though, directly. So I appreciate everybody's time and attention. Let me just go ahead and give you these final key takeaways before we leave. One, just jump in there and do it. Facebook is a huge, huge, huge marketing opportunity, and it's really just a huge missed opportunity if you aren't getting in there and giving it a shot. Be engaging, be social, as I said, engage in that back and forth conversation. Create incentives, interesting incentives for people to actually pay attention to you. It's very important in any form of marketing, but really important on the social networks. Use advertising to your advantage. Measure everything that you're doing and let that drive your specific strategies and tactics. And make that commitment to Facebook. I mean, it's a massive growing opportunity for any brand. Lastly, I would just like to say, what we do for a living, we help businesses market themselves online. And Facebook is something that we've had a great deal of success in. And certainly if there's anything that we can do to help you develop your Facebook marketing strategy or to improve what you're currently doing on Facebook, if you're not quite getting the results that you're looking for, we would love to demonstrate our capabilities. So please just get in touch. You can see here all kinds of ways to get in touch with us, our phone number, email address, hit any of those to get in touch with us, and we would love to engage in a conversation with you to see if we can help you. So no high-pressure sales pitch, but if it's something that you feel like you can use some help with, we'd love to be in touch and see if there's a good fit. All right, I'd like to say thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got a lot of things that you could be doing with your time. I appreciate you spending just a little bit of it with me here today, and I hope you got some really valuable information from this presentation. Take care.